Hello, hi Gloria. Hello, happy, what's today? Wednesday. I'm making some dinner, so I was just going to show you all really quickly a quick live. Happy Wednesday. We'll see if a few more people come on. And then I'm going to cook this food, and that'll be my dinner. For our dinner. Happy Wednesday. Let's see if a few more people hop on. I'm making some Singapore noodles. I usually order them from a takeout place that's close to here. But I said, you know, I'm going to make them myself. So I'm definitely going to do that. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully you all can hear me. If you can type a 1 in the comments for me. Let me know you can hear me. Hopefully you all can hear me. Type a 1 if you can. And let me know. We're going to start in about 1 or 2 minutes. I'm not going to be on long. I'm making some Singapore noodles for dinner. So I wanted to jump on and just show you all what I was doing. So I'm going to get going in a couple seconds. Let me see who else jumps on. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I see a few people jumped on. Oh, good. Thank you so much. So I'm going to jump into it because I'm ready to go home and I'm still at work at my kitchen. So I'm making, thank you so much, Daryl. Thank you so much, Miss Gloria. Thank you. So I'm making Singapore noodles for dinner. I always order them from a takeout place that's close to my kitchen, but I usually sometimes also make it myself. So I have all my veggies and stuff already cut up, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I'm going to make the sauce first. It's like a curry paste that you make for the noodles, and the noodles are not really, they're not soaked in sauce. They're more of a drier noodle. So I'm going to show you all how I make it. So for the sauce, my bowl is a little yellow because I just made a batch for another video. So I'm going to start with the dry. So I'm going to put some curry powder in here. Did I bring my curry right here? I'm going to start with about a tablespoon of curry powder. And this will be enough for about a ½ pound of noodles. I'm using angel hair, but generally you would use a rice vermicelli noodle, but I'm using angel hair. So I have my curry powder. Put that right in my bowl. And this is the one I'm using. I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric, about a ½ teaspoon of turmeric. Right here. I have all my stuff all on my counter because I was doing a video. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt. And you can eyeball it if you want to, but I know a lot of times people want measurements, so I want to give that to you. So I'll put my salt in here. And we're making this now because we need it to be ready when it's time to add it to the noodles, so I'm doing it right now. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. If you don't want it spicy at all, you don't have to add as much, or you don't have to add any. It's totally up to you. But it's really, this amount doesn't even make it too spicy, to be honest with you. Hello, hi Yolanda, how are you? So I'm doing some Singapore noodles for dinner tonight, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna come on for a second and show you all what I'm making before I head on out. So I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and I'm using a low sodium soy sauce. Let's add that in. Give us a little bit extra, it's okay. I'm going to add in some rice cooking wine. Usually I use Chinese cooking wine, which is a little bit darker, but I don't have any. So I'm just going to use the rice cooking wine, about a tablespoon. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of sesame oil. Now you don't want to go too heavy because sesame oil is really strong. So I'm going to use just a teaspoon of the sesame oil. Hi Celeste, how are you? I'm making Singapore noodles for dinner with some chicken and veggies. I'm going to show you, and I already cut up a lot of stuff, but I'll show it to you before I start to cook. So then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of just regular vegetable oil or whatever kind of neutral oil you want to add. You don't want to add as much of the sesame because sesame oil, like I said, is very strong. So you don't want to go overboard with it. So just stir this up, and we're just going to have a nice little paste. And then that'll be sitting there waiting for us when it's time to add it to our pan. Alright, and it gets a little bit thicker as it sits, believe it or not, so because of that dry powder. Okay, so there we go. That's our curry sauce, curry paste. And then let me show you the other ingredients that I already have ready to go. So this looks a little messy because I just used some in a video, but I have some red bell pepper, onion, and some shredded carrots. And then I also have some ginger paste and some garlic paste. You can always mince your own if you like. It's totally up to you. I have some green onion that I add towards the end because I like these to stay a little bit crisp. I have some chicken breast that I just cut into kind of like thin slices, thin to medium slices, and I season them with just a little bit of salt. And you can do black pepper if you like. And then, like I said, I'm using angel hair pasta, or you can use the rice vermicelli, which is more traditional, like if you were to get it from a takeout place. So I'm using some angel hair pasta. I toss it with a little teeny bit of olive oil just so that it doesn't start to stick as it's sitting there waiting for me to add it to the pan. So I'm going to move y'all over to the stove and we're going to start cooking, all right? For anybody just coming on, I'm making Singapore noodles for dinner, so I'm showing you all what I'm doing before I head on out. All right. Oh, and I also have 3 eggs. Did I show you that? Also have some eggs that I just scrambled up. All right. So I'm gonna take y'all over to the stove. You're gonna have to see my hand for about 2 seconds, and you'll be at the stove. Hold on. All right. Got you a good view of the pan. See if I need some light. Let's see. Looks a little bit brighter. Alright, so I have this pan heating up already. And I'm just going to add, and let me see, oh yeah, I feel the heat. Add a little bit of oil. And I'm going to add a little bit of more oil periodically. So I'm just going to start with a little bit. Just swirl it around your pan. Sorry about all that noise. You know, when you cook with a wok, it's going to be a little noisy. So I apologize to you all right now that I don't have a rubber or wooden thing to cook with. So I'm sorry about that. Let me try to grab one while more people come on. We just got our oil heating up right now. I may use this spatula for some of it so it won't be so loud. Okay, so let's make sure it's nice and hot. You want your pan to be hot before you put anything in it, okay? You don't want it to steam. You want it to cook right away. So it seems like it's hot enough. I see a little bit of smoke, and that's what you want. You don't want your eggs to stick, so we're going to pray. We're making Singapore noodles for anybody that's just coming on. All right, so let's add our eggs to the pan. There we go. And you see how they start to cook immediately. So that pan was nice and hot. All right, Miss Gloria, I'll make sure I post it as soon as I finish, which won't be long. I'll make sure I post the video so you can watch it later. Thank you so much. So those eggs cook very quickly. All right, so once they're cooked, we're going to go ahead and remove the eggs from the pan. Don't take long at all. We'll add them back in a little bit later on. I just cooked something in this pan a few minutes ago. All right, so let's get those eggs out. So I told you, it's quick. My kind of dinner. All right, so we're going to add in a little more oil and let that pan get hot again. And it's really already hot. I just like to give it like another 30 seconds in between just to make sure it doesn't cool down too much. So I'm going to go in next with our chicken breast. Now, if you want, you could also use chicken thighs. You can use shrimp, or you can just do veggies. It's totally up to you. I'm doing chicken, of course. Let that pan heat up a little bit. And I did season my chicken with a little bit of salt. I think I said that already. All right, so let's add our chicken to this hot pan. Be careful so the oil doesn't splash you. And just let it start to cook. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. That's a good sound, isn't it? I love it. Just let it get a little bit of color on it. And then we'll start to move our chicken around a little bit more. This dish probably comes together in about 15 to 20 minutes at the most. It doesn't take long at all. Hey, Coco. It's just me. Alright, let's start to move that chicken around. And I'm going to let it cook just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in my veggies. If anybody wants to share the live, feel free to share it. If you don't, that's fine too. Alright, so just let that cook a little bit. Then I'm going to add in that garlic and ginger. Remember that garlic and ginger paste I had? Y'all can imagine it smells good in here already, okay? And then I'm going to go in with my veggies. So remember the bell pepper, onion, and the shredded carrot. You can add less if you want to. It's really up to you. And we'll just let this cook for like another maybe 3 or 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes. It really depends on how done you want your veggies, alright? The chicken is going to be perfectly cooked because we're cooking that just a little bit and then we're adding in. Okay. Y'all excuse my cousin. She has invited herself over for dinner. I do have 2 pans though because I did a video before this. Oh goodness. So you just want to let it cook. So it depends on how much you want your veggies cooked. I like mine to be a little bit crisp, so I don't want to overcook my veggies, alright? So like I said, 3 or 4 minutes, it should be good to go. If you feel like your pan is getting a little bit dry, then you can add a little bit more oil. And sometimes I will just do a little bit, but I don't want to add too much in the beginning because then it's like it's too oily. It's not supposed to be an oily dish. But just eyeball it. If you feel like you need some more, just go ahead and add it. Periodically, just move everything around. Keep it moving. And spread it back out. Let it cook a little bit. If y'all have any questions, let me know. It's a pretty straightforward dish though. It's very, very simple. We just have in the pan right now our chicken breast, some garlic paste, ginger paste, red bell pepper, and onion. So that's all that's in the pan right now, and a little bit of oil. We cooked our egg right before this. That was 3 eggs that I just scrambled up. And we'll add them back into the pan later on. It smells so good in here. Oh my God. Ginger, garlic, vegetables. Okay, it does it every time. So it's almost where I want it to be. And I'm going to add it back in the pan later to give it a little bit more time to cook with the noodles. So you will have a little bit more time to cook your veggies. And if you wanted to add other veggies, feel free to do so. You can definitely add whatever you like. I know when I get it from the carryout of the takeout place close to here, they just do bell pepper, onion, and a little bit of green onion at the end. So, and sometimes they'll also add green bell pepper. So you have that balance of the sweet bell pepper and then the little bit of, not tart, I guess maybe tartness of the green bell pepper. Then it has a little bit more of a sharper taste. Alright, so I'm about to take this out in about a minute. I don't see any questions, so I must be doing a pretty good job explaining. We're almost in. To see how quick this is coming together. This is a quick dinner. And it's very tasty. Right, let's make sure that chicken is cooked. Get some of them big pieces down in the bottom. Almost there. No, I've never used egg white only, but you definitely could. You can definitely use egg white if you like. Yep, you can definitely just substitute if you're watching your cholesterol and only doing the egg whites or, you know, whatever it is. You can definitely substitute it. Alright, so this is about done. Let me take this out the pan. Look how good it looks. I could honestly eat this just like this. This is good by itself. I can smell that garlic, the ginger, everything smells so good. Alright, most everything is out of the pan. Let's do another little drop of oil for our curry. Even when I make curry chicken, I cook the curry first. That cooks some of that raw taste out. Some people call it burning the curry. Of course, we're not doing that, but alright, so we cut it down just a little bit. We're going to add in that curry sauce that we made. That right to our pan. Ooh, it smells so good. Woo! As soon as it hit that pan, oh my god. Get that in there. Let that cook just a little bit. And then we're going to add in our pasta. And remember, I'm using angel hair pasta, but you can definitely keep it traditional and use the rice vermicelli if you like. A little bit more. So I'm going to use my tongs for this. It makes it a little bit easier to toss everything around. And even here, if I want to do a little bit of more oil, I'll add a little teeny bit. Not too much though. But just to keep everything moving around and from sticking together and making sure all of that curry is well distributed. Another little teeny drop. If y'all can smell this, oh my god. It smells so good in here. A little more pasta. Got a little bit left. Alright, so just make sure the pasta gets coated with that curry. That's what we're doing right here. Just tossing it around before we add everything else back to the pan. Oh, it is good. Believe me, it's so good. I'm going to go ahead and add in my green onion. I don't like those to be cooked too long, so I add them towards the end. And just let them cook for about maybe 10 seconds and I start to add everything else back in. Alright, so now we're going to grab our chicken, our veggies with the garlic and the ginger and start to add that back to our pan. You can see how fast everything is coming together. Then we're going to add in our scrambled egg that we made earlier. Right back in the pan. And then just kind of chop it up a little bit so that it distributes throughout the pasta. And let me grab my tongs again. This is where I cut the pan down to. I cut it down to about medium low. Because everything is really cooked right now. We're just trying to mix everything together and warm everything back through. And that is it. I'm going to show you all a little bit closer about pasta, our Singapore noodles. Now this makes a good amount. This is about a half of a pound of angel hair pasta, about 1 pound of chicken, and then one of each of the veggies. So a medium onion, a red bell pepper, and then you have about 3 or 4, like one small bunch of green onion. We made our curry paste. And that was it. It's so simple. And this right here is definitely enough for at least 3 to 4 people. Alright, and it probably costs about maybe $10 to make. Exactly. It's so much healthier. Exactly. It's so much healthier. That's why a lot of times I try to make things myself when I can. Because you know exactly what you put in it. You can put a lot less oil, a lot less salt, a lot less of everything that you don't want. As many fresh veggies as you like. Nice lean meats you can add to it. So that's why I try to make things whenever I can. But this is our pan of Singapore noodles. If you want a little bit of extra green onion on top for color, you can definitely do that. And hopefully you all got a good view. Let's see. Yep, I made the curry sauce at the beginning. I'll text you the recipe, but quickly it's curry powder, turmeric. I put a little bit of rice cooking wine. I didn't have the Chinese cooking wine that I usually use. A little bit of sesame oil, some vegetable oil, salt, red pepper flakes, and did I say turmeric? I think I did, but I'll make sure I send that to you. And then I did the garlic and the ginger with the shrimp. I mean with the chicken. Lord, I'm thinking shrimp. I did that with the chicken. Some garlic paste and ginger paste. But that was all that was in the curry sauce. I can text it to you, Danielle. And look how good this looks. And it's so easy. And I use, like I said, angel hair pasta. Generally, they would use a rice vermicelli noodle. And I use that sometimes, but they're a little bit more difficult to cook. They're easy to overcook, let me say it that way. So for me making it at home, or somebody making it at home, angel hair pasta is something that I'm very familiar with, like a lot of people. So I'll do the angel hair pasta, you know, when I'm doing videos. Yeah, but you can definitely use the rice vermicelli if you like. But these are our Singapore noodles, ready for dinner. I made some salads to go on the side, and that is it. So do y'all have any more questions? Let me know. I can answer a few more questions real quick. Oh, that's going to be really good, Danielle. That's going to be really good. Yeah, most people have a lot of these ingredients already in their home. So it's something that you can make, you can just pull together. You can even substitute some things like you're doing shrimp instead of chicken. You can definitely do that. So like I said, the curry paste, let me read it to you. Hold on. I write all my recipes in notebooks. So, you know, because I do so many recipes all the time. But for the curry sauce or curry paste, whatever you want to call it, I did 1 tablespoon soy sauce, and I used a low sodium. You can use low sodium or regular soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine or rice cooking wine. If you don't have either, you can use sherry, you can use mirin, you can use a regular white wine that you have at home. You can substitute it out. 1 teaspoon sesame oil, and I'll type this in the description too. 2 tablespoons vegetable oil. 1 tablespoon curry powder. 1/2 teaspoon turmeric, ground turmeric. 1 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon red pepper flakes. So for the shrimp, I would cook them just like I did the chicken. So you're going to cook them, you know, a little bit, then you're going to add your veggies. I would cook them all the way through, because you notice when I added the protein back to the pan, it was only in here to kind of warm it through because it had been sitting to the side. So I wouldn't cook it like halfway or anything like that. They won't get rubbery in 30 seconds. So, okay, so I'll definitely post it for you. No problem at all. Yeah, so, yeah, I would cook the shrimp all the way through, because they're only going to be back in the pan, like I said, for like 30 seconds. They're not going to be in there for a long time, and you definitely don't want, you know, your shrimp to be raw at all. Yeah, so I'll post the recipe, Celeste. I will post it on the page tonight. I'll take a picture of this and post it under the picture so that you all have the recipe for it. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to jump off of here, wash these dishes, and hit the road. Takes me about an hour to get home, so I'm going to jump off of here. Yeah, I figured you were probably thinking that too, because you cook all the time. So thank y'all so much. Love y'all so much. Now, let me know how it comes out. And I will see you all on our next live. I think Gregory said something went wrong with the live yesterday evening, so we apologize for that. He's still trying to work out some technical things. So hopefully on Tuesday we'll have it straight so you all will be on our live. So if no more questions, I will see you all next time. Thank y'all a million times. I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.